I still love this MacBook Pro M1 from 2021, and it is probably my favorite laptop of all time. But there's one thing that's been bugging me and that I'm pretty disappointed in, but more on that later in the video. Anyway, it's been a while since I last made a review about my MacBook Pro M1, so if you still haven't watched that, I would highly suggest that you check it out, and it will be somewhere in the screen. I don't know which corner, but it'll be somewhere. But go watch that and then come back to this video. Because in this video, I want to get an update, because it's been almost a year now that I've had my MacBook Pro M1, and I really love this MacBook, and it's been treating me really good, but there is some things that I'm not that satisfied with. On this channel, I talk about tech, digital minimalism, and just lifestyle in general. And if you do have Discord, I would highly suggest that you join my newly launched Discord server, where the plan is that you can chat with me and other members of this YouTube. But now, let me show you how this boy is holding up. Honestly, the more I use my MacBook Pro M1, the more I appreciate it. And it's been my favorite piece of tech this year, along with my iPad mini, which also is a great piece of tech. But my MacBook is just incredibly smooth, and it holds up really well. Battery life is obviously one of the main factors I want to talk about. And on my previous video, a lot of you guys talked about battery life, how is it good, is it holding up, or whatever is it. And honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with the battery life, but then again, I'm also kind of disappointed in it, because I think that if you are to run a lot of heavy programs, like all the Adobe programs, or have a lot of tabs open, I think you need to be plugged into a power source, because your MacBook will not last 3 hours if you have maybe 2 heavy programs open and some tabs. But if you guys don't do any heavy tasks or anything like that, this MacBook is still great, and I still think it's a really nice purchase, even if you can get it used. Because if you just use it for light tasks like watching Netflix, browsing the internet, or anything like that, just writing in general, it's really good. But if you are going out, I would suggest you charge it fully before and sit on a cafe, because it's really annoying to run out a battery at a cafe or at school or at work or anything like that. So maybe just bring your charger and make sure that you can plug it in somewhere or charge it to 100%, because the more you use the MacBook, the worse the battery just gets. And I just think that the battery is probably the thing that I'm most disappointed about when it comes to this MacBook Pro. One of the things that I've also been doing on my MacBook is actually gaming and just watching things. And I've really just been enjoying the 120 Hertz on my screen. And this is just a really great feature, and it's just been great throughout this year. So the 120 Hertz is just a must for me now when having a laptop, or actually just an iPhone, because I also have the Pro version on the iPhone. And it's just great to have that. But it's kind of just a bonus, because if you go back to a MacBook that doesn't have this 120 Hertz, it's just like so different. Like you'll notice it instantly. And a lot of you guys ask me if we can handle a lot of heavy programs still. And honestly, yeah, it's been really good. And I've been running like Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. These are all very heavy photo editing programs from Adobe, all at once, and actually just switching between them at the same time and also have like 10 tabs open maybe, and it's actually been doing really good. But if you do that, the battery will drain really quickly. And I just want to say that I have the 16GB RAM and then the 1TB SSD. And I would highly suggest that you at least minimum get 16GB of RAM in your computer, because 8GB of RAM just won't cut it nowadays, and the requirement for 16GB RAM will just increase. And I think it just should be mandatory in every single MacBook that 60GB of RAM is just there. There are still some things that really have improved the life of my MacBook, and I actually made a video about 4 apps that I use on my MacBook that's actually changed my workflow on my MacBook. And I will link it somewhere on this video again, I don't know where, but it will be there. And I actually suggest you watch that, because if you are looking for some productive tools to make your workflow more smooth, I actually suggest you check that video out, because it's some apps that I honestly can't live without now. So some of you may ask, well, what about the heating? Well, does it overheat? while running all these programs and plugged into the charger and whatever. And actually, I'm surprised by this because it does not overheat for me. I've been gaming World of Warcraft on it, playing other games, League of Legends. I talked about all the Adobe programs that I've been opening while having 10 tabs, and it was still plugged into the charger. And honestly, it wasn't overheating at all. It was a bit warm, and it is a bit warm, and it didn't really overheat at all, and I'm really surprised by that. One of the things that I noticed though is that the charger gets really warm, but not the computer. So I just wanted to add that in there because I think heating plays a huge factor in a laptop as well. So should you still get the MacBook Pro 14 M1 after so many years? And honestly, if you can get a good price on it still, or you can even get a refurbished version, I think this laptop is incredible. And I saw the upgraded version like the M2 Pro, and it is better, but it's not a lot better. So if you want to save some money or get a refurbished version of this, I would highly suggest you get this MacBook. It is still my favorite laptop of all time that I've ever had. And I'm like not even afraid to say that. And I've had a lot of different laptops.